to the cloud. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. So nice to see you. Very nice that we are here together.
Good morning.
Meditate. Good morning. We're going to continue meditating on the Lamrim as we have been doing. These meditations, well, they're short because half an hour is not much, but actually it's quite enough for our day-to-day lives. And on Monday, I think Anne was there, and I think Nana was there. We were meditating on the precious human rebirth. And that is so important because, as I said, precious human rebirth is not a way for us to feel special in relation to or in comparison to others. Not like that. If we think like this is not really the goal of the meditation. Yes, we can be aware and we can be grateful for everything that we have, the material goods, the conditions, the external conditions, but especially what makes it a precious human rebirth in the Buddhist path, it is something that we call that wish, that inner wish to transform our minds. That is what makes it so special. And then having the conditions, the external conditions in this way to be able to fulfill that spiritual wish. Because if we don't have teachings, if we don't have teachers, if we don't have, the conditions to learn the Dharma, to contemplate, to meditate on the Dharma, then we are not able to fulfill, to accomplish that wish. But right now, we are, as I like to say, we are like 5, 6 people here together out of 8 billion people. you know Patty is in New York, and how many people are there in New York and who are actually right now 7:30 in the morning meditating? Not many, right? So that wish to transform our minds to be spiritual, it's not something that we should take it for granted. We should not take it for granted at all. So this meditation today is going to be a little bit more focused on that, on nourishing that wish, right? To transform our minds in order so we can benefit others, so we can benefit ourselves and benefit others. Okay, so it's not something just for us to feel, oh, we have the external conditions, oh yes, oh, everything can fall apart outside. No, but inside, let's nourish that motivation inside. Okay, so let's start it. So let's find a comfortable posture. As I like to say, we all have our unique bodies, so be gentle and kind to your own body, but not too kind and too gentle that the body falls asleep. Not like that. It's not a sleeping meditation yet. So try to make sure that at least you have a straight back, but there is not tense, there's no tension in making your back straight. Check your arms and your shoulders, making sure they are relaxed, opened. Check your neck. Check also your facial expressions, your jaw, if there's no tension in there as well, and just release it. And we try to let the tongue be on the palate, touching the palate, the upper part of the mouth. So we don't need to think about saliva. And our eyes can be either completely closed if it is too distracting for you, or slightly open to let some light come in. And once we have found a comfortable posture, we can start shifting the focus from the body. We already focus on our bodies 23 hours of our 24-hour day. So let's just start now paying attention to our state of mind, our emotional state, how we are doing right here and right now. And especially we can start thinking about what brought us here today. What is our intention for coming and meditating? What it is that we are trying to accomplish, to get from. And if we actually look and pay attention to it, we can start feeling that in, any, in a very superficial but also deep down, we just want to find some peace and happiness. And we don't want to have troubles, problems. So maybe we think that meditating can help us. And it definitely can. That's not the final goal of Buddhist meditations. The real goal of a Buddhist meditation is to decrease and eliminate completely all the sufferings so they don't come back, and to develop our qualities so we can help others. So try to see if you can establish this type of meditation, of motivation. And in order to accomplish that motivation, we need to have a bit more of control and focus of our minds. So we start to pay attention, to bring our attention to the breath, to the subtle sensation that the air leaves every time that we breathe in and out through our nostrils. We don't change, we don't increase, we don't decrease the way we breathe. We just observe it. And the moment that distractions come and we lose the focus on the breath, we notice, and then slowly we bring the attention back to the breath as many times as needed. Let's do it for a few minutes. If we notice any distraction, we don't judge, just notice. Don't get engaged in the story, just notice. And remember to bring the attention back to the breath again and again. Now that we were able to focus and concentrate our minds a bit better, we use this concentration and this focus to analyze how this present life that we have can be called precious. So whatever conclusion we get from this analysis, we try to use our concentration and our focus to stay with it. And like that, transforming our minds deeper and deeper. So we can start by acknowledging our current situation. We have a healthy body. We have incredible external conditions. We have incredible freedom to go, travel, say our opinion. We can do so many things. Things that maybe other people right now in this planet don't have the freedom or the resources. So just think about it for a moment. How fortunate we are in this sense. But if we think in this sense of material wealth and a healthy body, many other people have the same conditions, the same resources, or even better resources than we do. If we think about America, Europe, Australia, most people have the same external resources, freedoms that we have. So, what makes our current present life precious in the Buddhist sense? Well, many other people have, like us, looked for some sort of ways to better deal with pain, dissatisfaction, suffering. So we looked for a spiritual path. So just for a moment, acknowledge that you have looked or found a spiritual path. Because you were looking for something to relate to that dissatisfaction, that some issues or problems that you might have had or has. So just stay with, contemplate on that for a moment. But in this way, the path that we chose, or the path that we found or we are exploring, is the Buddhist path. A path that is started 2,600 years ago and have been completely pure in an unbroken lineage. And it's arriving to us through our teachers, especially incredible beings like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Khandrila. Think about beings like that that have gone through a lot of hardship, a lot of suffering in order to make it available and to teach us a path that guide us to the end of our own suffering. Just acknowledge that, having living proof of a path. How special is that? How precious is that? But not only we have the precious teachers, but we also have incredible access to teachings, to texts, and everything in our own language. We have so many texts translated into English, to Portuguese, to Spanish, to French. And we can have access from our own house. We don't need to walk miles and miles and do things. How precious is that? That we have access to tools, to knowledge, to wisdom in such an easy way. So just contemplate on that for a moment. But not only this, we also have Buddhist centers where we can find community, people that think and want the same, to follow the same path and help each other, support each other through our journey. How precious is that as well? That we don't feel so lonely, that we have people encouraging us, supporting us. Think about that for a moment. So we can come to the conclusion that we have mundane external conditions. We have our inner wish to follow a spiritual path. And we have external spiritual conditions to support us to nourish this inner path. How precious is that? What else do we actually need? What are we waiting for to practice this path of completely elimination of our suffering so we can benefit others? This is very precious. So just conclude with that, with this awareness of the how precious it is, the conditions we have, inner and outer. So from this conclusion, we make a strong determination to use all these precious opportunities, all these precious freedoms and resources, both inner and outer conditions, so we can remind ourselves every moment of our lives, whatever we are doing, whoever we are with, that we have the conditions to transform our minds, to open our hearts, so we can benefit others and be free from suffering. So we dedicate that we can achieve that every moment of our lives until every sentient being is free from suffering. Dedicate like that. And we can relax our posture, open our eyes slightly, slowly. I feel that this meditation is so important, but we need to be very careful to not come with our, I don't want to offend anyone, but Christian guilt. To feel that we are not using it. Oh, I am so stupid. I'm not using that. Let's not, let's not put more pressure on ourselves. The spiritual path shouldn't be another task that we should perform, that we should be doing, that we need to accomplish. It's not about that. We need to find joy. We need to find lightness. We need to really put that wish that we have and to see the conditions and get inspired. We always say that actually meditating on the precious human rebirth, when we are feeling down, it's a way to uplift the mind, right? Wow, I have all of these. I haven't done it so much. Maybe I can improve a little bit more. I can meditate a bit more. I can study a bit more. I can be a bit more flexible. Great. So just do it. Don't. This doesn't help anyone. So that is the idea. So that's why we need to remember, to remind these things. We need to really have that feeling of, wow, I am so blessed to have incredible teachers, incredible, Dharma centers, access to the Dharma, incredible people. So let's use them in a way, in a positive way. I always get a bit emotional. You guys gonna be, Nana probably remembers when I was guiding meditation last year. Sometimes I would cry in the middle of a meditation, so I'm very sorry for that. So yes, so I hope that this is anyway beneficial. I invite you to continue meditating. This year we're just doing 2 meditations a week because of my being lazy, and so. But tomorrow we have Lojong teachings online at 7, and on Sunday we have our talk as well. Blah 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 talk on Sunday as well. Otherwise Monday we also meditate again. So have a wonderful end of your week, a wonderful weekend, and I see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, Venerable Kalden. That was amazing.